I'm here with Black Jesus Yoshua. How are you doing today, man? Thank you so much for joining me.
Bro, it's an honor and a pleasure, man. You're a legend in our industry. Thank you for what you give to the culture.
Bro, like you and me and stuff. Thank you for your contribution to the culture. I was listening to your music, and the one thing I always show respect for real MCs, and you have some incredible just an incredible catalog of music, but you pour like so much of your life experiences and things that you've been through. Like I could hear the struggle, in your music. I was listening like before the interview to My Life in the Grind, and you talk
Oh,
about
yeah.
a bunch of different themes. Can you talk a little bit about what inspires you as an artist? What was it like growing up in Detroit?
My experiences, I was born on the west side, Ziegler Hospital. The first crib that we had was in the Herman Gardens projects, so that's really, I'm an east sider. Everybody know I bang and I ride for the east side. When it comes to the music, I represent the east side to the fullest, but I'm a west side born baby. That's
Okay.
everybody who really know my history and understand, they know that. They know I'm from the west, you know what I mean? So yeah, I was originally Ziegler Hospital, and then from that Robeson Street. But I got into hip hop around, I guess, around 11 years old. I was already into breakdancing and graffiti and DJing, but what really got me into it, I went one Christmas to Cleveland with my cousin. I got a little cousin named Stevie, called him MC Howie D. And he was rapping. And I was surprised that my little cousin had the balls to be literary like that and the gumption and get in front of people and say what he thought. So I was impressed. So me being the big cousin, I backed him. I already had the equipment. My family had a little bread. So my grandfather would get me anything I wanted that was conducive to me being, how can I say? I'm real good with electronics, computer, carbon coding since I was 7 years old.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't want to say it like I'm the smartest guy on earth, but I'm intelligent in my own spheres of expertise, you know. So DJing really led me to hip hop because DJing was cool, but it wasn't enough DJ battles. And my competitive Aries attitude and my lust for self expression, really being from the type of family that I'm from, only poetry could do that, And I heard my grandfather sing every day. His grand piano in my front room all my life. I've never had. See, this is natural for me to have pianos all over my house. I don't know anything else but music on that level. My family do it for fun. That's what really got me into it, DJing. And when I came back, he introduced me to my homeboy Chili C, one of my oldest homies, Chuck, Charles Britton. He introduced me to him. Me and Chuck went hanging out. Chuck was my cousin from Cleveland friend. I knew him, but his little cousin named Gia. Gia was my friend. Gia about 4 years younger than me. But
Okay.
Gia real smart. And she was a fighter. I like fighters, not ignorant people, but people who will stand up for what they believe in. And she was that type of person. She had a big mouth, and I knew she needed my protection, because I knew she was gonna get in a lot of fights with the women because she was beautiful. And she had that kind of mouth that would make you want to punch her. So by me and her being real close, her family was like, "Oh, you need to hang out with Chuck," And after years and years of them telling me that, I guess like one summer my cousins didn't come to town, and I was getting too old to be hanging out with Gia, being 4 years younger than me. I started hanging with Chuck. And after that, we formed the MC crew, the Montclair crew, Three Shades of Black, the Lawless Family, and them the original rap crews from the East Side that I was in. And we came up battling guys like Champ Town, battling the Mercenary Killers, battling but Esham wasn't in the battling back then. Esham was already established. So we was really just trying to battle to see who was gonna be second and third in our neighborhood, really. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
music is a passion for me, bro. It's my only way to express myself.
you
It's my
know,
out.
I think of the Detroit music scene, and I feel like the world knows it through the movie 8 Mile. like, you know, the movie, like, you know, it depicts this like fictional place called the Shelter. I think that was based on like the hip hop
No,
shop
no. The Shelter is a real place. It was three
place.
floors upon. The Shelter is St. Andrews Hall. Yeah, the Shelter.
Yeah.
Uh, it was three of them: the house music, the MC battles, and the regular people who
Okay.
just come to get the holes. Three floors upon St. Andrews.
Okay. St. Andrews. Right. Right.
Yeah,
I've
so the
heard of
Shelter was
St.
like the
Andrews.
basement part.
So is that where you would be performing? Like, you know,
Yeah,
St.
yeah,
Andrews?
we all did that, but that was like where the backpackers and the gangster rappers met in the middle because it was downtown Detroit. It was neutral grounds. You know what I mean? So the backpacking guys like Eminem would get with the guys like me and Proof and Budang and our little crews, and we all like meet up down there. That was like the neutral ground for all the different styles.
How do you
But
feel? How accurate was 8 Mile? Because I've heard like, you know,
okay,
different.
I'm gonna keep it real. A lot of the guys in the movies is my friends, and he had he played. He had us looking bad, but he didn't lie on us. We wouldn't accept him. We fought him. He was bullied in a lot of ways. He over exaggerated a lot because Sean wasn't letting nobody put hands on him. Let's
Right.
get that out of the way. Deshaun Holden wasn't finna let nobody put hands on nobody he loved. If he loved you, you was protected, and he loved them. You know, he was giving him his shoes, bro. So him right there had basically the mayor of Detroit battle rapping as his, you know what I mean, bringing him in to the scene, endorsing him to where he can rap around us. Man, M is a legend, and he battled for years. He fought so hard to get his spot. But yeah, he kind of shitted on us, but he wasn't wrong for it because it's Hollywood, and we did fuck him over. Niggas didn't what Detroit is a racist place. It's a black dominated place. He told the truth, man. He had to fight a fight that none of us have to fight. You know what I mean? He had to fight against Detroit, man. I mean, black Detroit. You know, he couldn't run. He couldn't change who he was. He couldn't, you know what I mean, change his color or become somebody else. He was who he was, and he was stuck there. So I understand why he kind of, I ain't gonna say villainized us, but showed us in the light that made me feel kind of funny. But then he hired me to do security and fed my family. And he know who he was. He could have shitted on us. He could have said, nah, I'm on, fuck all y'all. You know what I mean? He did Papa Duck pretty good. You know, Papa Duck is my big homie. I produced Papa Duck whole album when he got out the penitentiary. I'm the one who did that. You know what I mean? I made sure I got him back in the game. You know what I mean? He did it himself, getting himself back in the game, but I made sure I was an ambassador. I was a nigga in the studio, giving him free track, giving him my time, giving him my energy. You know what I mean? So he did right by Papa Duck, I believe, in that movie. Now that was really my biggest thing. As long as he ain't try to shit on my big homie, you know what I mean? But as far as the rap scene, he was 100% accurate. That part was accurate. That was so accurate, it gave
So
me chills.
so Papa Doc is a real person.
Papa Duck is his name. He didn't want to throw Duck under the bus out of respect and you know lawsuits and shit like that.
Right.
But yeah, Papa Duck, man, the real Papa Duck from Detroit, man, old school nigga, my homie, my big homie. He ain't no homie like my peer. This guy is one of my elders who I respect like a father. But he's still a whole ass old ass nigga. But I respect him like my father.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I hear like, you know, Proof, like, you know, referred to as the mayor of Detroit. Like, you know,
Yeah,
why was he the mayor?
because he was in every circle. He came from our group, but you're gonna find 50 groups that say that, and ain't none of them lying. You're gonna have 50 people like me telling stories about how his mama Pepper came and saved him. You know what I mean? When we was trapped in studios in bad parts of towns, like you're gonna hear so many stories from so many different people about him. You know what I mean? Because he touched everybody's life because he was down to earth. He was a real silly, crazy, fighting. He was one of us, man. That's the only way I can put it. He come from my neighborhood. He's a Beeland boy. Beeland and 6 Mile, you know, right off in between, you know, right across from the cemetery. We used to walk on battling. I used to battle him. He was the one person I couldn't win a battle against. So yeah, I always respected him, man. You know, that's my guy. Proof the utmost respect to my dude, Deshaun Holden, rest in peace. The shit killed me when they shot my dog. But I know Detroit. I know how that shit worked. You know what I mean? But he is that guy. He's
Man,
to me, he the number one man in Detroit to me. Besides Eshawn, I'm gonna always get his props because he put it down. You know what I mean? But Proof, man. Proof is the one who's accepted in every crowd, every circle. He's everybody's homie, everybody cousin, everybody brother. That's why he the mayor. And he battled everybody and couldn't nobody beat him. Nigga, couldn't nobody out rap that nigga in real life. Not fuck all the fake TV shit, the internet shit. I'm talking about on the streets. Tony's Pizza up at Osborne motherfucking auditorium at lunchtime and in battles on the way home from high school. Couldn't nobody fuck with him.
I mean,
That's why he the mayor.
you mentioned Proof being shot, and violence in Chicago and Detroit and like pretty much like every major American city. That's something that happens, and you said something that really stuck with me. Like yesterday in the interview with Benzino, and you was like everybody could know you and they still blow your top off. Like it was something to that
Hell
effect.
yeah. It's a respect thing, and you got to know where you at, and you got to know who you dealing with. They can all know you, and they can all respect you, know your family, and they'll kill you dead in Detroit. You have to be real careful. I'm a Detroiter, man, and as soon as I start getting famous, I start getting in all that trouble. As soon as I don't want to get into no criminal stuff, but I had a major case, and they had my face all over the TV. I was getting in so much trouble, and everybody knew me. That's when I realized, like, that was 2011. I realized you can't be famous and be at home. If you want to do this rap stuff for real, you got to get out the city and come back and help. You can be in the city, but you can't be based there. You know what I mean? And you got to watch what you say. You got to have respect for the people that's still in the city. I don't shit on the people who still in that situation I was just saying. You know what I mean? I'm out of the situation now, but my that's why I still rap about the struggle. I'm personally not in the struggle, so far away from it, but that's what made me. And that's what the people who I gravitate to, that's where they still at. Those are the people I care about. The young black males who don't have no representation. That 13-year-old black man who nobody wants to see prosper, who everybody looking at like a future criminal, a future everything negative. That old black man who gave everything to his community, to this nation. And then now that they through using him, everybody abandoned him. Kids grown, woman didn't use them up. Now he's out there alone. So we need a voice for the black males. That's who I am. That's who Black Jesus is. That's why I wasn't gonna get into no back and forth really with Benzino about M. Yeah, I'm gonna always ride with M. M is, you know what I mean? Not just a rapper from my city that I respect, man. He's a friend. He's a friend of my friends. He's a friend of people I love. Do you know what I mean? And that right there, you know what I mean? I'm gonna stand up for. You get what I'm saying? He's
Yeah,
loved by them Runyon boys. The Runyon boys is loved by them Westphalia boys and them Barlow boys. Detroit is a big city, but it's a small community. You know what I mean?
right, right. Yeah, like I mean, you talk about like, rappers and stuff being in danger in their hometown. Like, if you get famous, and I think like today was a perfect example of that. We found out like, the rapper from Florida, Julio Fulio, he was like shot and killed in Tampa. He's from Florida. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but like,
Yeah, he's from
that,
Jacksonville. I know the kid, and that's where I'm at now. I'm in Tampa, not in Tampa. I stay in the super suburbs, but I'm in the Tampa Bay area. You know what I mean? And yeah, I know what went down, and it broke my heart. You know what I mean? I understand what happened with him in the back and forth for Young and Ace. I understand that people been killed and there's blood on the ground, but we got to stop the killing, man, and we got to stop giving COINTELPRO carte blanche to just come in and wipe us out because we having all these petty beefs with each other and don't nobody know where the shots came from. We need to just calm it down. The older rappers need to step up. It ain't the kids, and I don't blame Julio Fulio, and I don't blame Young and Ace. I blame us, bro. I blame my generation, me in particular, the guys who had the power to change, but they were too afraid, or too greedy, or too selfish, and worried about self to really try to get out here and school these young guys. Me personally, I can't say what other people done, but I know it's been times when there's been young people that needed my help. Not and I was going through things personally and I wasn't there for them. And that's a failure on my behalf. So when I see one of them get hurt, I think about all the ones I came up short with from my life. You know what I mean? Like B. Curb, you know what I mean? Brandon Kirby. It's people that I really love that I watch, you know what I mean? That I could have helped, but I was on some bitch ass shit, really, just feeling sorry for myself, going through my own problems, and I wasn't being man enough to help that young man who was lost. And then we ended up losing him. You know what I mean? And that shit broke my heart. I ain't talking about it. But yeah, that's how I feel about the Julio Fulio situation. It's the same thing with like B. Curb, bro. They asking for our help as adults and the older men who accomplished and made it out, and we're not. We're not turning around helping them. We speaking down on that generation. Ain't shit. That generation fucked up. Oh, ain't no helping them. Man, come on with that coon ass shit, man. We gotta help them. You know what I mean? Because they are us, bro. That's what I gotta say about that. I don't like that situation at all.
Man, it's this rapper named D1. He's like, a gospel rapper, but like, he's from Louisiana. I've talked to him like a couple of times, and he's done a lot of interviews. Like, I think like one of his best known interviews was with Sway, but he's been on a lot of different platforms, and he talks about like industry hypocrisy and just the fact like, in hip hop, a lot of rappers are hypocrites and they promote negativity. They may do like, do you feel like, that needs to change where we stop like, glorifying like drug use or like, a lot of negative behaviors that are harming our community?
But they're not leading by example. The thing is with me, if you listen to my music, I'm really that guy.
Right.
You get
Yeah.
what I'm saying? There's no superimposing. I'm not inflating myself. I'm really that guy. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I open myself up and I be genuine about it. Now I can't always. When I was always doing positive music, the guys who was on the streets with me, they told me like, Doug, this ain't the real you. You rapping all this kumbaya positive shit, and when we see you, you stabbing niggas and shooting niggas, and the police is hunting you down, bro. We understand you want black peace and unity in the neighborhood, but we see you doing that, so you're not real to us unless you at least. We ain't saying you got to concentrate on it, but you do got to speak on that aspect of who you are. So I try to be a well-rounded MC. You get what I'm saying? And
I
not
understand that.
not
Yeah.
be a hypocrite in that way. You get what I'm saying? But when you see me, no, you're not gonna see a drug addict. You're gonna see a vegetarian Buddhist that love people. You know what I mean? You're gonna see a guy who respects all life. But you also gonna see a Detroit East Side nigga who ain't accepting no disrespect. You know what I mean? You're gonna see all of that. It's
You say
it's mixed up.
you're actually a vegetarian Buddhist. Like, how did that come about?
28, 28 years. Well, just studying. I had uncle named Walter Woodbury Wilson. So my daddy taught me how to read at 2 years old. So before I went to preschool, I could read. I've read all the holy books, the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita, the book of coming forth by day, the Chalam Balam, the Popol Vuh, just too many to name, bro. The Numa Elish, the Dhammapada, the Tao Te King, bro. I'm a nerd. I'm the guy that all of the tough guys paid not to be a gangster. I'm the guy who they beat up when they caught trying to sell dope, when they caught me with a gun. I wasn't allowed to sell dope until I was 30 years old.
Wow.
You hear me? Because of the older niggas in the hood that invested in me would have killed me. And for real.
Yeah.
They wasn't accepting me doing that's why you don't hear me really rap about that until my older life, because I wasn't allowed to do it. The older guys wasn't allowing it, bro. They would have beat me to death and brought me home to my daddy, and he would have did it again. For real. So it was a little different then. They paid for my education in music. They paid for all of the equipment back then. They paid for me to go to the big studios. They paid for me to rub elbows with stars. I didn't have the money. You know what I mean? My family was messed up at that time. My grandfather was indicted. My mother had went to prison behind indictments. It was bad for our family for a while as far as like the structure. You know, so that music really changed my life, and it really helped me, man. It really saved me from the streets of Detroit. And those guys that I'm talking about, Big Bo, my man from Rob's Records, you know what I mean? Rob, Burton, just so many people, Antoine Rayford. These guys were major figures in the neighborhood, but they took care of everybody. And people like me who had extraordinary talent, they would pay for our education. They would pay for places for me to live. They would keep me fresh so I didn't have to sell dope, and girls were still, you know what I mean, wouldn't talk down on me. You know what I mean? Those guys are my heroes. So that's who I need to be to the next generation. So when I see myself falling short of that, of being able to provide certain things so they don't have to put themselves in the positions, that's when I get mad at myself. But I don't really judge the rest of the hip hop or the rest of the people and the problem, because any problem I have with hip hop is a problem inside of me. You get what I'm saying? I can't say what another person should do. I can say what I have done, what the mistakes I've made, and what I can do to correct them. But I don't do no finger pointing.
I I kind of learned about like the streets of Detroit from reading. I read like Donald Goines, like when I was younger, and like he just gives like a before I had actually like really visited Detroit. That's like, where I kind of like, saw Detroit, like,
It's
through the book.
accurate. That's accurate. Of Detroit back in the 80s, 70s, all the way to like 87, 88. That was an accurate description and portrayal of Detroit. He knew exactly what he was talking about. You know what I mean? He really did. I'm talking about the street guys, the pimps, the players, us, the people that raised me. I got a famous family. You know what I mean? Master P, my cousin. My granddaddy named Henry Eugene Cheney. Like real American gangsters, man. Like did it big for real. You know, I don't like to talk about that or glorify that because my talent is in bringing the people together. My talent is in deciphering the ancient texts and bringing it to the people in a way that they can use it for everyday life. Because those people who lived thousands of years ago, they knew what we was finna face. Those people who was in America knew we was going to go through what we were going through. And I was given the gift and the opportunity to be able to read, translate, you know what I mean, Nahuatl, and be able to read and translate Hebrew and Sanskrit, you know what I mean? And I feel like if I don't give that part of me back and I just give them all of that gangsters, the gangster persona, I'm not being real. You know what I mean? Yeah, I got to be a gangster to survive Detroit, but really I'm a nerd, and everybody who know me know that. They know I'm not that guy. Just wake up and shoot up the school. No, that's not me. You know what I mean? They know I'm a people person. You know what I mean? I love the community. I love the kids. I love my elders. I love the structure. You know, I love family. I love community. I'm from the project, so we're built a little different. I got 100 mamas. You know what I mean? I got 100 daddies, and they all kick your ass. They all set you straight. I was raised in a community like that, so my mama and daddy did a great job, but they're not the sole reason why I'm intelligent or why I'm given the freedom that I'm given through the educational choices that the community gave me through letting me be an apprentice to so many guys who were just great, just scholars and gentlemen and gangsters, you know?
Yeah. You talk about community, and there's many issues in cities like Detroit, Chicago. We face like, the same problems, like, with economic inequality, lack of education, lack of affordable housing. What would you like to see change? What do you think needs to be done to fix some of these issues?
The guys of my generation, the guys of my age, me included. I'm not pointing the finger outside of me. So I'm saying me included. We got to step up and put all this money we making into community programs. We can't ask the government to feed our kids because when the government feeds you, then they own you. That's it right there. We need to stop with all of this nanny state and the Black community itself, not the Latino community, which is one community that's being separated through a bunch of propaganda and bullshit. We need to come together and take back our rights to be parents, our rights to be safe in front of our house, our rights to be in our community. Because these kids they're not the problem. You know what I mean? We are. And I'm not going to let anybody say that some people who just got here 15 to 20 years ago is the reason why America been fucked up for the last 700 years. Well, 500. You know what I mean? They not at fault. We got to bring in the programs. We got to educate. It's men like me who let the community down, who got rich and ran away or got hurt or betrayed and then just shut down. We got to get over that shit and start banding together. We got to stop the beefs. Grown men got to be grown men. We ain't got to all like each other or even agree. But in order for the community to be safe, in order for the community to be conducive to the growth of our children, we have to lay down the gauntlet and set just rules for engagement, just basic rules for engagement, like they used to be on the street. You used to couldn't do the stuff you do now. Like there was rules to engagement. I wouldn't dare. Like I was given a pass when I had my niece. They caught me on 6 Mile. They could have killed me, but they gave me a pass because I had my niece. You know what I mean? And that type of stuff need to be reinforced. You know what I mean? If y'all got a problem, that's two adults. Handle that shit like adults. You know what I mean? And men need to learn how to be men, quit acting emotional. I understand that we are all raised in women-dominated households. I understand that the U.S. government give the woman the power to dominate the man through the friend of the court. But hey, man, we got to stop acting like our mothers every time we get upset. We got to stop acting like emotional wrecks as men and thinking with our feelings every time we feel offended. That thin skin, weak ass shit. The worst thing in the world is a tough guy with thin skin. In Detroit, full of them. Detroit full of a bunch of tough killers that's thin-skinned. To me, that's soft. You know what I mean? If you really a man, show me your strength. Your strength is in not what you can do, but what you can withhold from doing, what you can restrain yourself from. So that's what we got to build back. We got to put the people in positions of power that need to be there and stop being jealous of the guys who have beautiful armor or who've worked hard in order to make their soul shine through their flesh and get that type of attention, because those are the leaders. We had them, but we try to compete with them and we try to cast them down and we try to say, oh no, they just like us. No, they not, motherfucker. Some people different. And we need to recognize that and quit all trying to be that guy. You know what I mean? I know who I am. I'm not that guy, but I know who I am. I can help that guy, but I can't be that guy. You get what I'm saying? I
I
can
get
play
that.
my role to help the community, but if that guy step up, then I got to step back. You get what I'm saying? And I gotta fulfill my position. That's what we got to do. You know what I mean? And stop blaming the kids. You know what I mean? It's the black woman got to wake the fuck up. You know what I mean? The black man got to stop being a punk ass nigga and tell his woman what the problem really is. Hey, you let these people come in and destroy our household. You put the friend of the court in our bedroom, in our family structure, and you know that they just want to destroy the family so they can fill up the motherfucking orphanages and the penitentiaries and give our kids all these goddamn medicines that they don't need. You know what I mean? It's an agenda. So we got to fight back against that. So it starts in the bedroom. It starts when you meet that young lady or that young man and y'all sitting up liking each other. All that liking shit, cool. But what can you offer? You know what I mean? Well, how can we build together? That's what it got to be. You know what I mean? We got to elect a real leader. People like me got to step back when that's not our position. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm good at this, this, and this, but I'm not that. Let that guy be that. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, that's a beautiful, man. What about music? Like, what would you recommend for people who are like, just finding out about you? Like, if you wanted them to like, check out like a song or like, a project, which one would you recommend?
The proudest one that I've done lately is called 12557 Westphalia. It's named after the street I was raised on the east side, 6 Mile of Westphalia off Gratiot. And I talked about everything in my life, but I did it in a way that I feel like I expressed it perfectly. You know, for a person that don't know me, that'll be the one that I suggest. But that's not the one that they like the most. They like one poet the most. You
Okay.
know what I mean? But as a producer and as an engineer and a rapper and an executive, I'm too close to the music. So I don't really like to
Right, right.
judge it and say that. I'll just tell you what I personally like as a fan of myself, and then I tell you what the fans like, and they like one poet. But I like 12557 Westphalia.
Most definitely, man. Like, you have had some like, interesting experiences, man. Like, just what would you say, like, was the best part about like, coming up through hip hop? Like, from like, performances to like, meeting people, like, what do you think was like, the most memorable that stood out?
Man, it had to be. We did a private show with Lil Wayne out in Flint. It was about 80 people. It was about in the rap groups. And it was about 80 people. And Lil Wayne came there. He had just did the one what he did the song about Mrs. Officer and all that shit.
Okay. Yeah, so
Fire man.
that was like 2010.
Yeah. He was promoting that album. You know what I mean? So we all in Flint and he come out and this guy was the realest guy I ever seen. He goes to the bar and he sits up and he kicks it with everybody. We smoking, he blowing with us. And he gets on the dance floor and just start dancing with the biggest bitch in the club. And he danced with her for about 2 hours until it was time for him to go on stage. When he went on, and when it was time for him to go on stage, he took off all his jewelry. He was just black hat, black shirt. He had one little short guy with him, was I for sure was his shooter. Because the little guy didn't say nothing all night. He just played the back. Just like our people do in Detroit. He reminded me of the Detroit guys. He was one of them type. He was serious. But your boy just, Wayne just was just so down to earth. He chilled with us. He danced with all the girls in the club. He hung all night. He ate. He's a regular guy, and that really like That surprised me because I met a whole lot of stars, a whole lot of, and most of them are arrogant assholes or
Yeah.
weirdos. Or weirdos. I don't mind you being a weirdo. If you're a weirdo, be a weirdo. You know what I mean? I can accept that if that's who you are from the start. I accept people for who they are from the start, but don't fool me, man.
When you
Don't
say
be this
weirdo,
way.
when you say weirdo, what do you mean? Just like,
Homosexual. I don't want to feel like, all right, I start liking your music. You a homosexual. I can deal with that. You get what I'm saying? It's a guy
yeah,
named Tim from Detroit. He's a homosexual. We all knew this about him way before he blew up. He never hid the fact. So when he blows up and we all standing behind him, I don't feel funny standing up for Kim because he never misled me about who he was. You get what I'm saying? But
right,
when I
right,
listened to Luther Vandross after I found out the truth, even though I grew up listening to Luther and I love Luther, I know every album, every song he ever made, I can't listen to him no more because it broke my heart because I was I was singing to my girls his songs, and I come to find out he's singing to a dude. Now, if I'd have knew that from the start, I wouldn't have felt that way. You get what I'm saying?
right.
I'd still been able to enjoy his music, but I had felt that he was one of us, straight men. I mean, you know what I mean? So when I found out he was homosexual, I had a problem with his music after that because I felt like he wasn't honest. But I didn't have a problem with Kim because Kim was honest about it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I've definitely heard a lot of like stories in the industry and seen things. You know, I've been around a long time, and uh, one of the things I know, like you're in the music industry, like there's a lot of sexual predators, like
Mm-hmm.
either way, like people that prey on men as well. Like do
Yeah,
you?
I was a victim of that shit, bro. Growing up, man, I've been doing this since I was 12 years old. So yeah, I was a victim of that shit. Yep. And for men and women, bro. So if you got kids in the entertainment industry, be there for them, protect them. You, they manager, you, they executive. Don't ever trust another person to look out for your kid like that because even if they're not the one to do that, they're not going to protect them in every situation the way you would as a parent. You get what I'm saying? Because the industry is full of sexual predators. Man, that's all that's there. You got sexual predators, you got hitmen, and you got extortionists. That's what you got in our industry. You know what I mean? That's what's there.
Yeah, most definitely. Like, we've seen that, like, with the allegations against Nickelodeon and like do you feel like the music industry is a dark place? Like, what could be done, like, bring more light, more people to the forefront who are like, like pushing positivity, pushing the real, not telling, falsehoods.
We gotta take back the industry, man. We gotta stop letting people in boardrooms and these Ivy League motherfuckers tell us who fresh, tell us who's the next big guy. We gotta start standing up for our individual artists, for our independent artists, and for the people who we really like. You know what I mean? That's what's going on because they don't set the trend on what's cool. They take cues from us. So whatever we say is cool is going to be cool. So when we say the agenda is changed, the agenda is going to be changed. Now, as far as the Hollywood parties and all of the weirdo stuff that's going on in Hollywood, that will never change because that's what it's built on. But us as hip hop wasn't a part of Hollywood. You know what I mean? We didn't become a part of Hollywood until after what was it, Tougher Than Leather, or the
Right,
second
right.
movie that she did.
Yeah.
That's when we was introduced into Hollywood for real, and we became a part of Hollywood. But before that, for real, the hip hop crowd and the Hollywood acting movie crowd were two different worlds. You know what I mean? And
Right.
we got to get it back to that. We got to get it back to where even if we have actors and people like that, that we're running the narrative on who's who. You know what I mean? We elect this guy, we elect that guy. And that's one thing that Benzino said yesterday that I had to agree with. Yeah, I understand his gripe with them putting M on a pedestal. But M didn't put himself on that pedestal. And I understand when he say, well, M needs to come forth and let his fans know to pipe down. I totally agree with that shit. You know what I mean? I feel the exact same way. So when he said that, I really, really understood and it touched me. You know what I mean? Because we control the industry. We tell people what to do. If I nod my head the wrong way, somebody get their head knocked off. You get what I'm saying? So if I got that kind of power, then why don't I have that type of influence in a positive way? Why can't I use that to tell everybody, hey man, this is the guy we need to be playing, this is the guy that we need to be backing. These are the people's, or this is what we need our young women or young men to be looking like in the next 2 years. Set the tone of the agenda,
One of the things
social engineering,
I saw on
but
your
by
Facebook
us.
was that you said Two Live Crew could walk through like, pretty much any hood in Detroit. Like, even like
Yeah.
streets like Eminem and stuff couldn't. Why is that? Why do like, certain artists get like, passes, like, where they'll be protected in the hood and others, don't?
Okay, you got a safety pass, and then you got what they call you accepted. You an honorable Detroiter. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
M is a Detroiter, but it's still certain areas M can't go in because M is in a certain Detroit clique. And Ryan Avenue not cool with everybody. They cool with Westphalia, they cool with Barlow, but they might not be cool with Cedar Grove. They might not be cool with Joanne. You know what I mean? That's how it really go. So you go where your affiliations at. You know what I mean? As long as you don't disrespect, you're safe in your affiliated areas. You know what I mean? But people who've become honorary Detroiters, it's a lot of them too. D.L. Hughley is one. What's that one guy name? And it was on his head. He's a comedian. He's so funny. Corey Holcomb is another one.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And he talks shit about Detroit, but Detroit ain't gonna never take off on him because he's been accepted as an honorary Detroiter. He just knows there's certain things he can't say about Detroit people, or that will be revoked and he'll be in danger. You know what I mean? But as long as he keep respect for the city and whatever gripes he got with the individuals, he keep it at that. He gonna always be able to walk to the liquor store. He gonna always be able to walk down Gratiot, you know what I mean? Or walk down Jefferson. Because we're gonna always respect real men as real men. But once you get to that point where you think your fame makes you special, we all got a crackhead uncle in the Temptations. My auntie Mary Williams with the Supremes, like that don't mean nothing to us. It's all about who are you as a man? What's your integrity? You know what I mean? What line is you pushing? Who endorsing you? You know what I mean? What are you bringing to this community? You know, that's what it really is in Detroit. And a lot of people with the tough guy attitude come there and then they try to play like they play in other cities. That shit might work in Wichita, Kansas, bro. They've never seen, but Detroit is the home of the bullies. You can't go there with that attitude. You know what I mean? You're gonna get hurt. You know what I mean? And if the people love you, they're gonna tell you that. A lot of times people come to Detroit and the people who got them there don't really tell them the truth. You know what I mean? They be so busy trying to get clout that they don't keep it real with the people. Like, yeah, it's this, this, and this, but I don't have power over here. Those guys over there don't like me, and we
Right.
gotta watch them when we out here. And you gotta watch what you say about any of these guys because I can't protect you from everybody. And people don't be real like that. You know,
Definitely, man.
that's what needs to happen. You know what I mean? In order for you to be safe there, you gotta walk like a man. You know what I mean? You gotta be down to earth. You can't play the star. They'll hurt you.
Black Jesus Yoshua, man. I enjoyed speaking with you. Thank you for coming on. Uh Running out of time. It's gonna click off, but where can people